So hello, my name's Rob and this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I'm painting up Squigs. These guys show up absolutely everywhere in the Mortal Realms and the 41st Millennium, and do you know what? They're great fun. They're full of character and they have a lot of global parts. Obviously mine's going to be a little bit different as I'm doing the Anvil Squig from Zogrok Anvil Smasher. That's a mouthful, I'll tell you that much, but they are really easy to do. As always, I'll leave any information in the description box below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Also, if you do have any questions, do leave them in the comments below. So to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mount mine on a little base, and I'm going to put it on a hobby handle. Now, these are great. Obviously, I've always had short, stumpy, fat little fingers, so this is great for me not to handle these tiny little models. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to prime it with White Scar from Citadel. In actual fact, all of this colour scheme uses Citadel paints just for ease of kind of use. Don't forget to give your paints a good shake, and obviously do be conscious of it being too cold or too hot, especially here in the UK where it's getting a little bit cold. Now we've got a lovely white solid base coat. I really like this White Scar spray. I've been using it a lot lately. And it's going to give us a really bright finish to our first paint, which is Evil Sunz Scarlett. Now, being a layer paint, it is a little bit thin anyway, but I always recommend just adding a little bit of water and just doing a couple of coats, and you'll get a really lovely, bright, solid finish, which is exactly what we want. If you're not too keen on this step, don't worry, I'll recommend a good contrast paint in a minute. That's how we're looking. We've got a lovely, solid base coat. Which is really a really good starting point. If you wanted to skip the step, you could probably spray with Mephiston Red. However, next I'm going to come in with Carroburg Crimson, and I'm going to give the whole model a wash. Once again, I've got a good amount on my brush, and all I'm going to do is make sure that it goes into all the little recesses and details and things like that. And I'm just going to be a little bit conscious not to let it puddle up and pull, as we don't want any big splodges on this. When your shade is dry, you can see that it's started to give us a lovely little bit of depth and kind of bringing that skin to life. What we are going to do now is we're going to go back to Evil Sunz Scarlett, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a nice little watery kind of glazy paint type consistency here, and I'm just going to go over some of the recessed areas, as you can see here, like the tips of the tail and stuff like that. This is just to bring a little bit of extra brightness to those raised areas. Now, if you did want to skip this step and you wanted to use something like contrast, I would recommend going for something like the White Scar Primer still, but using something like Blood Angel's Red all over. That will give you a really good one and done skin, and do you know what? It just looks as good. The contrast, really good. Blood Angel's Red is a really good colour to use. However, that is our skin pretty much done. Really easy to do. Obviously all the other details now, they do kind of merge across a lot of the squigs. The first thing I'm going to do, Pink Horror, this is for his lips. All I'm going to do is make sure I've got a nice big solid colour on any of the lips and just slightly up the side of the jowls. Then I'm going to come in with Fulgrim Pink, and I'm almost just going to do a few little dots here and there just to add a little bit of brightness where the light would catch the ridges of the lip. Once that's done, it's starting to look a little bit peculiar, but don't worry. The next colour we are going to use is Ushabti Bone. Now this is for any bone details like the teeth. I'm going to choose to do my claws a darker colour, but if you wanted to do his little claws on his hands with this as well. Then I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia for an all over wash. Once again, same like we did with the Carroburg Crimson, I'm just going to make sure that I'm in control of how much I've actually got, and I'm just going to make sure that it's not puddling or pooling anywhere, and that it's settling into all those little details. Now we've got that, I'm going back to Ushabti Bone, and then I'll be adding a layer of Screaming Skull. This is just a highlight onto the teeth to make it look a little bit sharper. The reason why I add the sepia is because it makes it look like there's a bit of plaque and a bit of dirt built up on the teeth, which is great for things like squigs. But I'm just working about 3/4 of the way up the teeth with Ushabti Bone, and then towards the end with Screaming Skull, just to give that nice little bleached effect, which makes the teeth look really nice and sharp. Now that's done, we've got a lovely toothy smile, and he's starting to really come together. However, the next colour we are going to do, this is Eshin Grey, and for this it's going to be for his stone kind of anvil head that he's got here. I'm also going to be doing this on the claws as well. So if you are doing dark claws on your squigs, this is how I do them. All I'm going to do, once again, thin it down, and you might have to do a couple of coats of this. Eshin Grey's a pretty good colour for covering, so you might need just a couple of coats of this. So now all the colours are blocked in, and he's really starting to take shape now. The next thing I am going to do is I'm going to wash all these areas with Agrax shade. Once again, just like the previous two shades, I'm just going to make sure that nothing's puddling up too much and it's evenly spread out, just being a bit conscious of the other details that we have already completed. Next up, I'm going over to Mecanicus Standard Grey, and this is to highlight all of the grey areas that we've just got completed. All along the ridges and the gaps and along the curvature of the hooves or little claws that he's got on his feet. Just take your time with this. I mean, you could probably do this with a dry brush if you wanted to, but do just be careful not to be messy with it, as you don't want to hit those other colours. Then it's over to dawnstone, and we're going to repeat the process much like we did on the teeth. I'm just going to work to some of the more sharper edges, like this little ridge here and along the top of his anvil type thing. As you can see, I'm just dotting my brush along just to give a little bit of an inconsistent kind of look to it, which is great for stonework. And there we go, that is pretty much all of it done. I am going to use some Leadbelcher to paint in his little collar on the end of his tail, and I'm going to dot his eyes with some flash gitz yellow. And that is our little squig done. All that's left to do is base him and put him on the spinny thing. So let's go. So there is our squig. Really, really good fun. These have got absolutely bundles of character. And once again, if you do orcs on Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000, at some point you're going to come into squigs. I love them. I think they're great. They're really, really cool. Once again, this was only a short kind of tutorial, and I just thought it was worth seeing how I do mine, seeing as these are a staple of, you know, most game systems that Games Workshop makes. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was great fun to do. I'll see you all next time. God bless and take care.